Good afternoon. So let's begin our the session 7. And session 7 is about global cooperation in driving unified 6G roadmap. And that's what I think we are all here. In this session, let me invite the moderator, Dr. Kumar Sivarajan. He has already been introduced so many times. He is the Vice Chairman of Bharat 6G Alliance and CTO and co-founder of one of the Tejas Networks. So I think a big round of applause, please. And now I request moderator to call panelists, or one can say others who will be joining this session. So over to you, sir.
I hope I'm audible now. I think I am. I get the echo. I invite Dr. Amitava Ghosh from the NextG Alliance, then Professor Harald Haas, Professor Future Telecoms, Professor Rahim Tafazolli from the University of Surrey, Ms. Anita Doehler from the NGMN Alliance, Dr. Colin Willcock from the 6G IA Europe, Professor Gerard Parr from the UK-India Future Networks Initiative, and Professor Chang and Professor Nakao from Korea and Japan will be joining us on video, not live, so we'll do that later. Thank you. So for the format of this session, I will briefly introduce each of the panelists and then ask them to give their views on global cooperation in driving unified 6G roadmap. So that's a free-flowing thing, no suspense. And after that, I'll ask you a trick question in the next. Okay. So our first is Dr. Amitava Ghosh from the NextG Alliance. Dr. Amitava Ghosh is a Nokia Fellow in Standards and Strategy, over 3 decades of experience in wireless technologies from IS-95 to 5G Advanced and then 6G. He holds over 75 patents, has co-authored 2 books, and serves as the chair of the NextG Technology Roadmap Working Group. He received the IEEE Stephen O. Rice and the Neil Shepard Awards, and he continues to drive innovation in next-generation networks. Dr. Ghosh, your views.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, and good afternoon, everybody. And I represent in this, not Nokia, but NextG Alliance. NextG Alliance was established in around 2020, and with the goal of being a leading authority on 6G in North America, with engagement in market development and vertical engagement, gap identification, mitigation and correction, and roadmap for future technology. So when it started in 2020-21, we first came up with 6 audacious goals, and we have a paper for that, and that forms the basis of NextG Alliance. Since then, we have come a long way. We have done around 45 white papers on various aspects of technology. We are heavily into the verticals, so we have looked at 8 verticals. And also, we are a proponent of global cooperation. As you know, we have moved. We have moved with various other alliances like XGMF, Bharat 6G Alliance, Korea 6G Forum, 6G IA. What we have done with respect to collaboration, we have published a ministerial level paper with 6G IA, but we submitted it to our governments, but then there was administration change, so it didn't go anywhere. Then we had workshops with XGMF and Korea 6G Forum this year where we exchanged ideas. So our intention is global collaboration, and we are very interested in all the verticals, right? And various aspects of 6G. We have published multiple white papers, as I said. Recently, we have published white papers on channel models for ISAC and FR3. We are doing ISAC webinar this 14th. And also, we are very closely tied to ITU-R. We have made significant contribution in ITU-R with respect to 6G IMT 2030 requirements. Having said that, I think NextGA is a consortium where the industry, academia, and government work together. And with respect to Bharat 6G or Alliance, we need a specific goals to enhance our cooperation. I was talking to David sir and I said, why not have a positive cooperation? So select a vertical, right, which is common to both India and North America, and as a baby step, write a white paper on that vertical. So that will be a good start. And so so global cooperation is very important to us, and that's why we signed the MOU with these various alliances. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. Next, I turn to Professor Harald Haas. He is the Van Eyck Professor of Engineering at the University of Cambridge and the founder and Chief Scientific Officer of Pure Li-Fi. He is known worldwide for his pioneering work in optical wireless communication, which is called Li-Fi. His research focuses on using light for data communication. He is a highly cited researcher, has delivered several TED Talks. He received many awards, including the Royal Society of Wolfson Research Merit Award, the IEEE James Evans Avant-Garde Award, and the Humboldt Research Award. Professor Haas, your views on global cooperation for 6G.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. In short, a global collaboration is a necessity in order to drive our industry. And I think that event here is a good place to really drive that collaboration. I hope we have more of those. I'm one of the directors, and I'm proud of that, of a UK hub in the UK called Titan, which is a network of networks. I'm also co-director of the federation of all the hubs in the UK. So we are at the forefront of research and translation of research in that field. Maybe a few thoughts around sort of why we need that collaboration in that field. I mean, we all know with OpenAI, AI is everywhere. Everybody talks about AI, but AI requires connectivity that is interoperable. It's working together. So it's like putting a brain on a shelf somewhere and call it AI. That brain on the shelf does nothing until you have a nervous system. So we are jointly developed a global nervous system for that brain to function. And so we have AI for networks, but also networks for AI in that regard. And I think maybe the last thought I wanted to throw in as a food for thought is, when we talk about interoperability, we talk about interoperability of data streams, of bit streams, so that your mobile, regardless of who you buy it from, works with the networks, and that's why we need standardization. So we standardize bit streams, data pipes, but now with AI, we are at a big challenge of standardizing decision making. So we are not interoperable in the bit streams, but in the decision-making process in the AIs that sit within the networks, and they operate on data. And the question is, who owns the data? It's a key question to be answered, and hopefully something we can drive in this panel. But once you have the data and you have the AI, so how does the AI work across geographic locations? And that, I guess, is a big challenge for standardization. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Haas. We'll come back to you. I think the AI is a very interesting aspect. Maybe we'll explore that in the next round. I now turn to Professor Rahim Tafazolli from the University of Surrey in UK. He is the Regius Professor of Electronic Engineering and Director of the 5G Innovation Center and Institute of Communication Systems. He's spent over 30 years in digital communication, authored 500 plus publications, and advised governments on 5G and IoT strategy. He's a fellow of the WWRF and recipient of the KIA Laureate Award for contributions to communications. Professor Tafazolli.
Thank you, Kumar. Well, the institute I'm from, like 6G Innovation Center, and before that 5G Innovation Center, is highly collaborative pre-competitive research. And the reason, and it is very international, the reason that we wanted to have representative of the sector, right, is operators, service providers, equipment providers, manufacturers, because for any generation, we need a consensus. Mobile industry, including satellite now, is the generation happens based on global consensus. I always say, not one country, one company, or even one continent can decide on the future global systems. It has to be international consensus to do it. There has been some lessons learned, hopefully, started, for example, with 2G. We had, in Europe, we had GSM, and there was a few other standards around the world. All of them converged to GSM because the industry could not support a portfolio of different technologies at that time. Even now, we have limited number of vendors. Mention Nokia, Ericsson, Samsung, and etc. They cannot, they can correct me, they don't have the bandwidth to support multiple standards. So there has to be one common standards globally. For one, I already mentioned, because the world that we are in, we don't have that bandwidth and capacity to support multiple standards, multiple solutions. My colleagues here talked about interoperability between different systems. Another important factor, one of the reasons that mobile industry has been very successful is economy of scale. If you have one global standard, the cost to the end user become less, much cheaper than that. And all of this, if you consider all of these factors, then obviously I have to say that one global standard is the way forward.
Thank you. Thank you to Professor Rahim. I now turn to Ms. Anita Doehler from the NGMN Alliance. She's the CEO of the NGMN Alliance. She has extensive international experience with telecom operators, vendors, and consulting. She holds a diploma engineering in telecom engineering, an executive MBA, and is a systemic business coach driving technology innovation for global operators and research institutes. Your views on global 6G?
Thank you. So the NGMN Alliance, NGMN stands for Next Generation Mobile Networks, is in place already since a very long time. It's an operator-driven alliance. We have at the moment around 20 operators globally in NGMN and around 50 vendors and academic institutes. So NGMN influenced 4G, 5G, and of course we started to work already in 2020 on 6G. We released several position statements, and when it comes to the objectives and global cooperation, the success of our industry is based on global standards. It's based on interoperability, it's based on economies of scale, and only economies of scale can also contribute to affordable mobile services. So there are several positions we already released with regards to 6G, mainly also from an operator view, because that's our main remit in NGMN, cooperating of course with vendors and with academic institutes from start at the early development stage. But one item was clear since start, that we want to achieve global standards also for 6G. So the danger of fragmentation is quite evident, and whilst of course there are regional specifics, the overall objectives is the achievement of a global standard. So we cooperate of course with a number of organizations, and we very closely work with ITU mainly I2T, I2R, but also 3GPP. We have an agreement with the Bharat 6G Alliance since last year, and I think no matter which organization we have here, the main objectives are quite equal. And so that's what we are doing. From an operator perspective, of course, we want to focus mainly on software-driven networks. So that's a debate we have in the industry. Therefore, also when it comes to the standardization, I think that this year and next year will be extremely interesting and important. But that's ongoing work, and if you are interested, of course, all our publications are also available on our webpage. So we submitted a number of liaison statements. We work with 3GPP that in a way that we, through our members, also contribute our content to 3GPP. With this, I close for now because I think we have a lot of panelists to give us the opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Anita. Our next, I turn to Dr. Colin Willcock from the 6GIA in Europe. Colin is chairman of the 6G Smart Networks and Services Association and the SNSJU governing board and head of the research alliances at Nokia. He has 28 years with Telecom, extensive experience in software development, standards, and European research projects, including TT Medal, DMINT, and Semaphore. So, Dr. Willcock, your views.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. I'm surprised I put the number of years. It just makes me sound very old, which is probably true, but there you go. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. I am representing the 6G Industry Association. So this is a European industry association which tries to be the voice of industry in all things 5G and 6G. We have about 430 member organizations. And that encompasses operators and vendors and academics and research institutes and everyone else you've ever heard of. So we have quite a broad basis, and that enables us to take or develop European positions on various different technologies to do with mobile communications. We very much believe in a single global standard. I think that's been mentioned very, very wisely by the previous speaker. This is one of the key things we wish to achieve. A single global standard to solve the world's problems. So that means we have to collaborate. We have to collaborate on technology, but we have to collaborate on use cases. What are we trying to develop? What are the requirements? What are we trying to solve? And that's why it's absolutely vital that we work together. Now, we're obviously involved in all of these collaborations, and I think we have MOUs or whatever else with just about everyone here, and that's great, and joint seminars and white papers and anything else you wish. Maybe one thing which not everyone's involved in here is we also run a large European-based research program on 6G. So together with the European Commission, we run something called Smart Networks and Services JU. You heard about HexaX earlier yesterday, one of the major projects there, but we have 100 different research projects running in this program. And that has involved nearly 1.8 billion euros of public funding to make sure that we develop the right technology. And this is not something limited to Europe. There's already 35 countries involved in these projects. We have joint projects with Korea, with Japan, with US. We're looking to have joint collaborations with India in the near future. So we feel that's also a useful addition, not just to have workshops, which are absolutely important, but also let's look at joint research and actually making sure we understand each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. I next turn to Professor Gerard Parr. Professor Gerard Parr, MBE, is a full professor of telecom engineering at the University of East Anglia, specializing in next generation networks, IoT, and digital transformation. He has led major UK-India research collaborations. I've met him on many of these collaborative efforts. Secured multi-million pound funding and advised the UKRI EPSSRC on ICT strategy. Professor Parr.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a privilege to be here. As just mentioned in the opening remarks, I'm here representing the UK-India Future Networks Initiative, and we have indeed signed an MOU with our 6G Alliance, and again we want to leverage that. But if I could give a little bit of background context, I've been working with India for 20 years. I first came to IIT Madras in 2005, and David Gopale in the audience was one of the first people I met. But the program that we put in place as a consequence of those visits became the first centre of excellence between India and the UK in next generation networks, systems and services. And that, if you like, developed a model of collaboration. And from that period onwards, we've had a number of spin-off projects, culminating in what we have right now, which is the UKI-FNI project. To the extent that that's a model of collaboration, we found that we had a lot to learn from a UK perspective in working with colleagues in India. Different deployment environments, different legal, different regulatory environments, issues that we maybe weren't taking into account when we were looking at the design of various wireless, photonic and satellite systems in the UK. So to the extent that, you know, the whole point of collaboration is to learn, to share best practice, I can say for certain that we learned a lot from those early days of collaboration with colleagues across India in a number of IITs. And the other thing was to have a model of collaboration that involved industry from day one. It wasn't just a number of institutes and universities coming together. We had that input from industry, which is so critical. And the other aspect to this is the deployment environments where it's already been alluded to, terrestrial and non-terrestrial. What does that mean in practice if you wanted to develop a real-time SLA across all those transport bounds? And particularly, as already been alluded to, who owns the data when something goes wrong? So the issue of collaboration is key. And I'm also glad to mention that as part of the project we have at the moment, we helped feed in to the government thinking about where do we go from here in terms of expanding the collaboration, investing in the collaboration and pushing out a roadmap for the next 4 years. And I'm delighted to say that some of the inputs that we've had from UKI-FNI project into the Indian government through the Department of Telecoms and into the UK government culminated in the fantastic announcement yesterday by both Prime Ministers for the vision for another joint centre of excellence.
Thank you, Professor Parr. Next, we have on video Professor KyungHi Chang from the 6G Forum in South Korea. Professor Chang is chair of the 6G Forum Executive Committee.
I am KyungHi Chang,
at KyungHi University,
and
Korea.
I'm also serving as the
already started speaking? With the PhD
chair
from
of the
Texas
6G
A&M,
Forum.
his leadership roles
I
at
am
the
very
Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology and ETRI, received multiple national awards. Let's play the video from Professor Chang. And one, just hold on.
And
for a second.
I'm also serving.
Can you pause? Yeah. So since after the two videos, I'll turn to everybody here. Okay. I think we all want to cooperate. We're going to make a joint statement, which is going to be all goody-goody, right? What I want you to think about is what are the areas where we diverge? It is not to provoke a debate, but to just think about what we should avoid, or maybe we should work on getting consensus. I think the areas on agreement will be repeated over again. And we all said nice things about collaborating, but I'd really like us to pinpoint where we diverge, where you see UK or Europe or US diverging from India or within each other, so that we at least know what eggshells we avoid treading upon, or we try to drive consensus. Okay, that will be the next round. I hope that will be interesting while we play the two videos. Thank you.
Executive Committee Chair of the 6G Forum. Now, I am very glad to share the recent progress of the 6G R&D in Korea, especially focusing on the 6G vision fast perspective. Let me briefly introduce 6G Forum. 6G Forum is a kind of public-private partnership organization. And after 10 years of successful 5G Forum activities since 2013, 5G Forum has been transformed into the 6G Forum at the 10th anniversary. Even though the title of our organization is the 6G Forum, we are not only focusing on the 6G revolutions, but also for the 5G expansion into the verticals. And then we have finally reshaped the whole organization, whole architecture, structure of the 6G Forum towards the 6G R&D. And under the umbrella of the executive committee, we have the 9 technical committees, including 10 working groups under the committees. And we have extra 2 teams for the strategy and the global collaborations. Let me introduce 6G R&D, nationwide R&D in Korea. We have 2 phases of the nationwide R&D for 6G. The first phase will be completed until the end of this year, and then second phase will be completed until the end of 2028. And then phase 1 focus on the technology development, and phase 2 we are focusing on the commercialization of the 6G technologies. And especially we are targeting pre-6G Vision Fest at the end of the 2026, and then 6G Vision Fest at the end of the 2028. And then promoting the development and standardization of the 11 strategic technology across 4 major domains of radio access network, core network, wired network, which is the optical transport network, and the system perspective. Will do the whole commercialization and the trials. And then the Mobile Korea is kind of the brand. 6G Forum is the hosting every year. It's kind of the annual international the events, and then now it becomes a global platform for the 5G and 6G collaborations. The last year's statistics, in the case of Mobile Korea 2024, we have almost 800 of attendance from the 14 countries and the 60 organizations. This year's Mobile Korea, there will be during the week of October 27th at Seoul. And we can see the invited speakers from the whole the MOU partners and the global vendors and the MNOs. And the Mobile Korea 2025 consists of the 4 events. The first one is 6G Global, second one is 5G Vertical Summit, third one is a regional workshop, and the final one is satellite communication forum sessions. So in addition to those 4 the events, sub-events, we have the Mobile Korea Demo Fest session. And we also finalized the schedule and the venue for the Mobile Korea 2026. That event will be held during the week of the December 8th, 2026 at the Incheon. And then there will be as I explained, there will be pre-6G Vision Fest to showcase the pre-6G R&D achievements. The highlight will be AI-powered RAN and intelligent antenna systems, cloud-native and AI-driven mobile core, ultra-high capacity optical transmissions, and then AI-native frameworks for future 6G services. we welcome all the demos from the global vendors, MNOs, and the solution providers, and then the MOU partners. So if you have any intent to participate and join the Pre-6G Vision Fest during the Mobile Korea 2026, please let me know, and we'll send the official invitation letter. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Next, we'll play the message from
Good morning.
Professor Akihiro Nakao. He's co-chair of Japan's XGMN Promotion Forum and professor at the University of Tokyo. His research is on NextGen Networks, AI integration, cyber infrastructure, and he leads initiative in 5G, beyond 5G, and 6G strategies. Can we start his message?
Hello, distinguished colleagues and partners. It is a great honor to speak on behalf of Japan's XGMF, XG Mobile Promotion Forum. I am Akihiro Nakao, a core chairperson of XGMF. XGMF was established in April 2024 under Japan's Beyond 5G strategy to bring together industry, academia, and government in advancing innovation toward 6G. Today, XGMF represents 203 members in total, 124 organizations, and 79 individual members, reflecting a truly diverse and collaborative community across technology, academia, and policy. We operate through an open project-based structure that encourages members to work across disciplines and sectors, combining research, development, and social implementation. Currently, 20 active projects, including 6G promotions, are underway. They address both technical and societal dimensions of 6G, as well as monetization of 5G, ranging from advanced wireless and wired network architectures, non-terrestrial systems, AI-enabled orchestration, time synchronization, and field trials for smart cities, manufacturing, and sustainable agriculture. Our shared goal is to ensure that next generation mobile networks creates tangible value for society. XGMF is also deepening international collaboration. We have MOU with as many as 21 global organizations. We are actively partnering with global counterparts to exchange knowledge, align standards, and develop shared testbeds. Through these frameworks, we aim to contribute to a globally interoperable and trusted 6G ecosystem, because we all recognize that challenges ahead can only be met through international cooperation. In this context, I am very pleased to express XGMF Japan's full endorsement of the shared principles articulated in today's joint declaration, that 6G must be secure, open, resilient, inclusive, affordable, and sustainable by design. These principles represent not only our technical direction, but also our collective responsibility to shape a human-centric and sustainable digital future. XGMF is firmly committed to turning these principles into reality by advancing trusted technologies, strengthening openness and interoperability, promoting resilience and environmental sustainability, and nurturing the next generation of innovators. We see 6G as a global public good, and we are determined to contribute to its realization in collaboration with our international partners. As we move forward, let us continue to align our research, our standards, and our vision to build together a human-centric, resilient, and sustainable 6G world that truly leaves no one behind. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. We'll now resume the interactive session.
Hello.
Did we finish? Okay. I now turn to Dr. Ghosh. Okay. So let's do let's look at technology features. In each region, what are the differences in technology features? I know there's commonality, but what you see are the important differences with the thrust area in each region, which we have to overcome.
So from NGS side, I am putting on my NGA hat. We made a presentation at the SA1 workshop, which was held a year before. And we said 9 use cases are very important. Of all the 9 use cases, I think the most important we think is fixed wireless access in addition to eMBB. And the one which we think is important is low power wide area networks, right? LPWA was there in LTE, right? MMTC and narrowband IoT. In 5G, there was no LPWA. There was RedCap, but I think 6G should be designed from ground up with LPWA as the main feature. So that is one of the difference we have in North America, but I think fixed wireless access, we are very excited about it. And I think there will be white paper coming out of the ADIS on FWA. And the next thing we are very excited about is the verticals. Now, we are looking at verticals which has wide area implications like agriculture, public safety, and utilities, right? But the issue what we have is that how it will create economic value, right? Because you see the features which create economic value now to the operators is basically eMBB and little bit FWA. Verticals is very difficult. So we are trying to promote verticals so that it will create new economic value in addition to LPWA and FWA. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. I now turn to Professor Haas. You spoke about AI and what are the training data you use for AI? If you use UK training data, will it work well in India? If you use urban training data, does it work well in the rural areas? Is each site going to be different just because the AI model learns what is specific to that site? Interesting questions, your views.
Thank you very much for the question. I think it's very important, but let me just say about your initial question about where we differ and where we come in. My observation by looking at my colleagues in the UK, their research priorities, which are very much linked to global initiatives, particularly Europe, and also looking around the world, there's more commonality than there's difference. Really, it's hard to find any divergence, maybe in niches, but on general thrust, there's very much alignment. And alignment I see in three major areas. One is on AI. I mean, the whole world talks about AI, and the operators want more software upgrades, and it's good. But I also understand in order to really build new use cases, you need upgrades as well. And the upgrades may come by really the integration of sensing and bringing sensing into the network. And that is in the area of fiber. So we see more and more threats, for example, on subsea cables. So we need more sensing in the fiber world, and that's a lot of research in the UK and in the world. But there's also then sensing in the wireless world by really extracting information from data sets that are already there, like channel state information, and bringing in sort of positioning into papers as well. And there's also, I see very big commonalities in what the EU, XIX and others they've come up with and we followed, is the key value indicators, KVIs. It's very important because we will get new use cases in. We get the automotive systems in the agriculture environment, but also we will get more autonomous cars, more autonomous drones, and we get more and more sort of non-human, more machines into our sphere, and they operate independently, driven by AI, local and central. And you need to make sure that these are trustworthy entities, so that you have an autonomous systems that nobody can turn into a weapon. So you need to wrap around a lot of security mechanisms, starting from the physical layer into the network layer, and that is an entire theme of research in networks. The other one is resilience. We see a lot of threats in the world, but spoken to colleagues in Finland, for example, where they see a lot of dangers there in terms of how to make networks operatable, not spammable, and therefore resilience is a very important topic as well, and this is where the world unites. I think, and then if we sort out the AI, so we standardize AI, and I would be really keen on our industry representatives, partners, what their views are in getting sort of standardized, verifiable AI, so that you know that your AI algorithms work worldwide. And I'm glad you use the UK training data, which is, I guess, reliable, and I think something you can offer to the world as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's going to be interesting. The network going to turn rogue on you because it is AI. Okay. Professor Rahim, you emphasize global consensus. So you have any view on where we will have trouble with global consensus?
Yeah, no, thanks. I think most of the things have been said already. I see from the technology perspective, when you ask a question, there is no disagreement what technology is needed or what KPIs is needed or expected of 6G. The only, I wouldn't say it is divergence, but it is not discussed enough, probably. I see, especially in Europe, there is a difference of opinion or approach between vendors and operators. The operators, Anita, which is represent them, and etc., they would like to see more evolutionary approach to 6G from 5G advanced, whereas some vendors, they talk about more revolutionary approach. We had this debate in the membership of the 6GIC because we have vendors, we have operators, and we said, how are we going to solve this? Because at the end of the day, we academic, we need to innovate, we need to come up with the new solutions, and we cannot get stuck between vendors and operators. So we discussed this, and what we realize is there is a missing important point, is the benchmarking of any technology in order to say it is revolutionary or it is evolutionary from 5G. So we all agreed, we always use whatever we want to do. We want sensing, we want to do AI, we want to do AI plus sensing, we need spectrum sharing or whatever it is. We do it in 5G first, advanced, use that as an evolutionary performance, and then compare it if we had a free, clean slate approach with 6G. And then probably by 2029, 2030, the operators will decide whether it is worth investing in revolutionary approach because of big performance gain, or just carry on investing in evolution of 5G advanced. I think that is mainly the differences, our approach towards 6G. But we managed to solve that problem. Our benchmark is always compared with an evolution of 5G advanced.
Thank you. Ms. Anita, your views, you also talked about vendor-academia collaboration. Maybe you could, in India also we are interested in that because there are more academics. Maybe you could shed light on that in addition to addressing the topic of what hinders global convergence.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kumar. It's a great question about differences. So the board of directors of NGMN, Mobile Network Operators, decided a while ago that we will focus only on the topics which are controversial for 6G, because it's about creating value for the industry and of course creating value to the customers. And topics where we have consensus, they will be standardized anyway, so there is no need that we tackle them in NGMN. There is a number of topics which are controversial, and I would like to take a bit of more macroeconomic perspective here. So we do have different regions. We have different situations in the different markets. We have saturated markets. We have markets where the monetization of 5G is really a challenge. We have markets where it's not obvious when we take the use cases. So I spoke yesterday about the use cases. We also have a contribution from NGMN made already on use cases, that most of the use cases probably can be delivered by 5G. So the big question is, what are the use cases for 6G? We spoke also about AI, we spoke about immersive reality, so of course quantum technologies, the cybersecurity. So there is a lot where we will need innovation, no question. But we have markets which, and it was just already said, which really strongly believe that with the 5G architecture, with the disaggregated architecture, cloud-native solutions, we have a lot of flexibility in the network to focus on incremental innovation, more continuous innovation instead of the G cycles driven by software mainly. If there is a new spectrum need, of course, this will probably lead to hardware upgrades, but any hardware upgrade should be justified by either additional value through supporting new use cases, supporting energy efficiency, supporting operational simplification. So this is one part. The other part is that we have markets. India belongs to those markets, in my opinion, but also other Asian markets which are not saturated, which have a lot of rural areas where there is a real growth opportunity and the use cases requirements are different. And I've heard yesterday opinions from India that it is expected that the entire network is redesigned for 6G. So we have quite a controversial opinion in those cases, and I think that makes it extremely interesting, and we are working on those topics to hopefully achieve a solution in global standards which pave the way for the different markets to meet their customer needs and to also deliver a meaningful techno-economic framework for the different markets, and most important, to deliver value to all our different customers.
Thank you. Dr. Colin, your views on a single global standard, or what prevents it? So my question is, we are trying to get a global cooperation, a global unified standard. What differences do you see between regions, between Europe and US or Europe and India, either on the technology front or the use case front, which is an obstacle to a global unified standard?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Forgive me, I'm slow this afternoon. So, relative to the use cases, as has been mentioned, last year there was the SA workshop where all the various different regions presented their ideas for what the key use cases for 6G would be. And we have analysed that, and there are some differences, but again, I would start by saying what has been said by my learned colleague here, that there are far more commonalities than differences. In actual fact, if you look across the 20 or 30 identified areas, I would say 20 of those are common. You can see some differences, and as has been mentioned, one of the key things is things like inclusivity and coverage. So when you come to large countries with large rural areas like India or Brazil, they have far more interest in making sure that you can use this technology to reach those people who are currently not connected. And I think that's all fair and well, and I think that needs to be taken into account. Relative to standardization, there is common agreement now in 3GPP about a timeline. I won't pretend there aren't some tensions there, that some countries would like things faster and some countries would like things slower. But I think we've got a structure, we've got a framework, and I think if we follow that framework and we make sure that the machinery which is defining 6G, and above all else this is 3GPP, as long as we ensure that machinery works, that no one does anything to break that or to hinder that, then I think we'll get to where we need to be with one global 6G standard.
Thank you, Professor Gerard Parr, to close it out. But you had an interest in a particular topic on whether we have enough skills to keep the innovation going in telecom, right? Or are we losing talent to social media applications? Your take.
Thank you. I mean, just to comment from my experience over quite a few years, there was a positive divergence in approach to things like field trials. We were able to deploy field trials much more quickly in India than we could in the UK to get early insight into the performance of some of the systems as part of a proof of concept demonstration and so on. But it leads then to the fact that if we can see how we could leverage that again. Again, mentioned in the rural areas in particular and a whole range of different thematic verticals. But I want to come back to this point about AI because it's not so much that AI rules the world. I would like to turn this on its head and show that the telecoms network, and I think Harald has already alluded to that, it's network-enabled AI, distributed AI, or if you like, network-supported AI, because you can have all the data you like coming from the edge. You can have massive data centers storing vast amounts of content, but the networks in between need to function at scale. And if we're having this discussion in 5 to 10 years' time, all we know is that the amount of data is just going to increase, even if we have some improvements in compression and so on. But ultimately, the pressure on the operators, the pressure on the vendors to deliver the networks that we are going to require to harness the benefits that we think we're going to get from AI requires innovators to come into the skilled supply chain for telecoms. And I know for sure in the United Kingdom, and I'm pretty sure in India and other parts of the world, the skilled supply for telecoms engineers who will design, deploy, test, monitor and manage the networks of the future, and I mean integrated, terrestrial and non-terrestrial, and indeed subsea. Where are they coming from? Where is the pipeline? Because they're currently being hoovered up by hyperscalers and by banks who want people who are very smart to be data scientists. So I think we need, as a common group, I know to me it's a global challenge, but if we can learn and get best practice at making the MOUs come to life about how we can enhance and energize the employment opportunities that exist in our sector, I just worry slightly that we may have some challenges ahead, particularly on the skills pipeline itself. I see this as an opportunity to really emphasize the employment and the exciting challenges you can get by working in this domain.
Thank you, Professor Parr. That almost brings us to a close. So I think there is violent agreement that there's much more in common, very little differences. Maybe the only meaningful difference is the ubiquitous connectivity requirement, which is emphasized by countries like India with large population, large areas, maybe not so important. And we have some views on AI. I'm sure they'll be very different in 2026 when we meet here. So let's review what happens in AI. In 1 year in AI is like a century, because ChatGPT has released every month. So maybe we'll have something very different. So on that interesting note, let's close this session and move on to the valedictory session. It's a Friday evening.
So just on behalf of this organizer IMC, we have some, we don't just bring. So I request a moderator to hand over this to panelist. ले जा बेटा, जल्दी ले जा. And I think it's all identical, so we can start either the same order. So I request Dr. Amitava Ghosh and then Harald Haas. Yes, sir, please come on the center so that I think we get the logo. And then Professor Harald Haas. बेटा ले आओ, इधर आ जाओ तुम लोग. Professor Rahim. Miss Anita, Dr. Colin, Professor Gerard. Sir came at least 2 days before. Whether I missed? No. So I think then I request our chairman David. It's okay. Sir, come for the photo. And let us do one photo session. I request you all to come forward. I request you all to come for a photo session. Thank you all. Now we have come to the valedictory session, and we have with us the organizing committee, Mr. Anil Kumar Bhardwaj, DDGSC from Department of Telecommunications, Dr. Malik, Dr. Ulrich, Professor David Coyle Pillai, and this team is there, but I request first Mr. Malik to come here and steer this show. Start. So I request Anil, I think, because you are. No, आप start करिए, हम करें तो बाद में हम बैठ कर करें.
हम कर लेंगे.
बैठ कर लें.
Sir, बैठे तो सही. I request Dr. Professor David and your vice. So, Mr. Kumar, Dr. Ulrich, please join us. Mr. Kumar, and do we have Professor Rohit here? Professor Rohit Buddhiraja, he is left. So, sir, first of all, thank you very much for the 2 days of engaging discussion. And while I was running here and there, I had the chance to interact with some of you. And I know that discussions have been really, really meaningful. And my sincere thanks to Chairman David, Dr. Malik Tatipumala, Dr. Ulrich, and all of you. I mean, I can't take names of everybody. I'm just coming out of an award session. Their minister said, you know, jury has to make a lot of effort. But I can tell you this committee, the kind of effort, and we had a very, very hard taskmaster in Dr. Malik, who would fix up meetings. I hope I have your ears, right? Fag on of the day, you have taken, I think, lot of technical know-how, lot of technical things, but listen to this. He will sometimes fix up meeting through the meeting invite to fix up the agenda of this meeting, and we guys could not keep up with his pace, and you know, once or twice at least this happens, that we realize that today at 9 a.m. or maybe 9 p.m. and some odd times, because he was in Silicon Valley, Dr. Ulrich was in one part of the world and we were on this part of the world, and I am adding another, you know, another layer, which is Mr. Pathak. He keeps traveling. Even last week he was in UK. So, you know, getting the same time zone, everybody talking together. So thank you, Dr. Malik, for bearing with us and making sure to put up all these great speakers with whom some of us coordinated. And I am sure this conference will go in a long, long way in terms of collaboration, in terms of the joint working things we have made, the relationships we have made here. And that's what I feel 6G is all about, because it is not about technology. It is all about connecting in real time, the ubiquitous connectivity, the connectivity which benefits us all, and not only connectivity of us human, but connectivity of the devices. And that's where I would stop adding to this and request Dr. Malik to take it forward by taking it forward for releasing the joint declaration which we have worked upon. Over to Dr. Malik Tatipumala.
Thank you, Mr. Anil. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I would like to start thanking the organizing committee, Mr. Anil Kumar and his entire staff, and Rajesh Kumar Pathak and his entire staff at Bharat 6G Alliance, and Dr. Ulrich and Dr. David Koil Pillai, and entire staff that supported, for this symposium. And of course, I would like to thank every one of you for making this symposium really exciting. Last 2 days, we have discussed so many topics to really align the technology standards and the policies for the 6G roadmap. I sincerely thank every one of you for exciting discussions. So, just looking back, since 2024, when we had the last symposium, and versus now, the team has made a tremendous progress. The first one is that there was a US-India collaboration that was established through NSF Wines. That's the first major milestone. I would like to congratulate the team. The second milestone, which was announced yesterday, in fact sometime today, is the India-UK collaboration. So you can see these events are creating that enthusiasm and inspiration to bring countries to come together. What the last panel discussed about, 6G means it has to be planetary scale. That means that it has to have cooperations between countries. So with that, I would like to thank every one of you for exciting sessions and also being part of this symposium and part of this journey. And I would like to invite Dr. Koil Pillai to come and talk about the joint statement.
But I'll adjust it. Good evening. As we come to the last and the valedictory session, it is really an honor for me to express a few thoughts on behalf of Bharat 6G Alliance. I'm indeed very happy that in the course of the last few days, you had a chance to hear the pulse from our leadership, starting from the Prime Minister, from our Minister of Communications, the Secretary, the Minister of State, and the President's Scientific Advisor. All of them are basically conveyed to you the sort of priority that has been given, the visibility that has been given to 6G, and in many ways they articulated the aspirations of India in this regard. So now I look at the audience and I say thank you for being a participant, thank you for being a well-wisher, and we hope that together, as we have agreed upon that we have a common vision towards 6G, all of us have committed towards cooperating and working together, and also to execute this plan, and look forward to working with each of you. Now to my colleagues from Bharat 6G Alliance and from those within the country, what is there ahead of us, something very, very exciting, because even as this program is winding down, already we are getting calls to say, okay, where is your implementation plan for phase 1? So we're going to have to hit the road running. We're going to have to address multiple things, going to address standards, R&D work, prototype development, ecosystem development, everything. So it's an exciting time, but we do look forward to the collaboration with our international partners. There is a tremendous amount of value that you can add, you can help us in our journey together. So with those few words, I want to once again say thank you for being here these 2 days, and we hope to continue the interaction in terms of the bilateral and in some of the broader collaborations, and also look forward to seeing you all at the International Bharat 6G Symposium 2026, when we'll be able to report a tremendous amount of progress in the last 12 months. Thank you very much, and over to Mr. Pathak for the joint statement that we're going to release.
Thank you, sir. So now we have come to the very important part of this 2 days, that all our MOU partners, they are, I think, listed here. Some of them, most of them are listed here. Starting with the NextG, XG, 6G IA, 6G flagship, 6G forum, UKI-FNI, XGMF, 5G Brazil. 5G ACIA, they could not, give the support, but NGMN. So they all have agreed on the broad principles. So I request the representative of all of them, please, Mr. Colin, come here. Mr. Amitava, you also come. Mr. Gerard Parr, and UK team, Mike's, Professor Mike, you be here, sir. So you can, we can just either stand or something. So what is the thought process, that you can just see that I have written on the top Delhi Declaration, and it says that, can you just slowly roll over this, what is there? Slightly, just 1 minute, you must keep it here. So it's, this declaration has been broadly accepted by Bharat 6G Smart Networks Services Industry Association, NextG Alliance, XGMF, 6G Forum, 6G Brazil, UKI-FNI, UK TIN, UK Federated Telecom Hubs, and 6G Flagship. So I think a big round of applause for all of them. Broadly, it says that I think all we work together, and there are certain principles. So I'll just slowly, can you just roll it over? So this is first is a trusted and secure technology. Next, go down. Take it up. Yeah, next is a resilience, reliability, and privacy. Further, move it slowly. Yeah, keep on. Next, global, transparent, and inclusive institutionalization. I request NGMN also, please ma'am, you also join, because even though you are not part of this joint, because NGMN told that they will be part of the similar with some changes in a bilateral basis. So welcome Dr. Miss Anita. And open and interoperable innovation. Next, support for commercial use cases and forward-looking business models. Affordability, sustainability, and global connectivity. Yeah, further, go. Yeah, further, yeah, roll. And end-to-end global coverage, terrestrial and non-terrestrial integration, which is very important of a component of a 6G. Spectrum, compute, and supply chain diversity. Skills pipeline development. So academia is well represented here, and call to actions. We say that we all will work together. Yeah, slightly up. So I think a big round of applause. So this joint declaration will be part of our initiatives, except NGMN, for which that will be bilateral, which will be just announcing separately, because that's some processes going on. If you all agree, and in case of any broad this one, then I think we'll just So a big thank you to all our MOU partners. I'm sure that next time even ESA and other partners will also join. Would you like to say something? Please.
I just wanted to seek any reflections or the feedback from the audience here. I know some of you have. Mike, I know you wanted to say a few things. This is a chance for you to provide any reflections or any feedback or what's the path forward.
Yes. But you speak anyway, please come. Then you are the senior most. I saw Professor Rahim missing. I could not. I mean, why didn't you also join? Please come, please come. कहाँ है दोनों? कहाँ है बुलाओ? बस आगे आ जाओ. Mike, please, please.
Just by way of wrapping up, I'd like to just pay a few compliments that haven't been made. So I'm Mike Short. I attended this event last year remotely because I couldn't get here. However, I've enjoyed the last 3 days. But I think actually Barrett 6G Alliance itself have done a fantastic job in bringing everybody together. So will you please put your hands together for the work they've done in putting together this conference. Can I also just say, I think ending with some principles that we've just agreed together is also a great way to finish this particular conference. It seems to me that the principles of action behind the next steps are absolutely critical to agree and to help keep this progress on track. So as we think ahead to India Mobile Congress 2026, as we think about the work that needs to be done in standardization and in spectrum, there's a lot to be done. So we may not have given all the solutions today, but we're on the right track thanks to the great work of Barrett 6G Alliance and all the collaboration that's already occurred. I'd just like to offer you 3 quick reflections of next steps, if I may. I was, some 30 years ago, chairman of the GSM Association and helped to establish the first Indian interest group within the GSM Association that subsequently became COAI, the Cellular Operators Association of India. And if I look back over the 30 years, we've achieved an awful lot, but the work ahead is more complex because the world is a very different place today. So going ahead for the next 10 years needs more concerted effort internationally than we ever did 30 years ago. I think there are 3 things that may diverge us unless we're very careful. The first thing that may diverge us is things like cost. We need to think about cost very, very rigorously. And that means thinking about international standards that keep the cost down. That means thinking about international R&D that helps to achieve a single standard. That means thinking about spectrum in a very cost-effective way. We may not all have the same spectrum, but we need to think about it from a cost lens. We cannot have spectrum driving the future requirements of customers. We need to come up with designs that are cost-effective and scalable internationally. The second C, I'm going to give you 3 C's, is coverage. It's also clear that not all countries have the same coverage requirements. Some countries have huge indoor coverage requirements. Some have huge rural and remote coverage requirements. The sea is not well covered today by cellular. So we need to think about the coverage of the planet. That requires us to think about 3D networks, HAPS and satellites in different orbits, and how they work together with the devices that we will need in years to come. So my second C behind the principles is coverage, coverage, coverage. My last C, though, is capacity. We also have to think that some markets are different. There will be some high capacity locations, there will be some low capacity locations. We cannot have that driven by spectrum alone. That needs design thinking around capacity. So not only am I offering thanks to all the work that Barrett's XG Alliance have done and the team and the collaboration, but I'm pleading that everybody pays attention to those principles and works with them, but particularly applies the lens of cost, coverage and capacity. And with that, we must collaborate. Sorry if that's too many C's in one row. Cost effectiveness, coverage, capacity with true collaboration. Thanks for all your great work. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to make any remarks? Harald? Yep.
Done with the principles. I have a slight worry as well. We have now a piece of paper where we have agreed on principles and this rests somewhere. I think we need to think ahead on the spirit of the last discussion and the principle that Mike just said. How do we equip life into these principles? How do we ensure that we all follow through across all the nations to honor these principles with a scientific rigor, but also with a market view. And maybe we talked about these workshops and conferences that will take place worldwide. We have the same events. We had one in the UK, in Cambridge this year. This is Bharat. There's events in Japan. There's events in Canada, in the US. Is there a way that we can interlink these events by setting ourselves some challenges that we want to solve along these principles we have just declared, in order then to follow through and report what's happening and what we try to achieve jointly along these principles. Just a thought.
I think that's a great suggestion. I would like to take it up with Professor David Coyle-Pillai and see what can be done to interlink these initiatives so that they are more connected, as opposed to siloed. Yes. Anyone else? I know Veena wants. Veena, would you like to say something?
I was just going to indicate that Malik and I, as fellows of Canadian Academy of Engineering, we're planning an event sometime in March, trying to avoid the Mobile World Congress of GSMA. I work for them, but we still, by avoiding all the dates, we are still looking at 12th and 13th of March. It's an event for 6G. It's an inter-academy of event. We are in the throes of developing the program. It would be held in Ottawa. We have a location. One of our academia university, Carleton University, has offered us the location, the position, the accommodation to hold that, but we haven't really sorted out the program yet. But I just wanted to let you know that this event is, we are planning. It's 12th and 13th of March in Ottawa, and as soon as the event is finalized, we will definitely inform 6G Alliance here and any other academies we have been working with and Canada has been working with, and the ones we know through the the international GCOT agreement Canada has signed, US has signed. So you will, all this to say, watch for more information. And we are hoping that with Malik's help and the rest of the group we are working, the organization team, that we would be able to pull this through. Thank you.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you. Dr. Ulrich?
Yeah, as the non-Indian in the organizing committee, first, of course, I wanted to thank you very much for the warm welcome in the organizing committee. And having been here last year, the standardization has started, and we have really, as an industry, made tremendous progress. And of course, to the comments, where all these regional activities come together, I'm here speaking as a standardization person, are of course the bedrock of the activities, the spectrum harmonization with the ITU and the WRC process, and we have to work very strongly together to achieve that. Seeing the regional requirements, seeing where commonality, seeing how much we can accommodate by still having requirements to the system that are manageable, be it coverage, be it density. And of course, the second bedrock is then the technical standardization, where we had the expert coming to Bangalore just a month ago, where of course we have to take all what we got from this institution and this discussion and then debating this with the best technical expert into one solution. And of course that solution has some variance. If that solution is in lower 1 gigahertz spectrum, it may be not the exactly same solution on all parameters than if you look at millimeter wave. But of course it is one framework, and this allows then the cost effectiveness and the global scale. But I said, compared to 1 year, we have made tremendous progress. When we are here next year, especially from the standardization, we were very close to the WRC preparation, and we will have finalized the technical studies for 6G, so most of the parameters will be there, and I guess then we will start more and more in trialing, proof of concept, and so on. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ulrich. Anyone else would like to make any remarks, comments? Okay, if not, we can close the session. I would like to invite Mr. Anil to say a word of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Malik, Dr. Ulrich, Professor David, and all the alliances, and I'm not thanking Dr. Pathak, whom we have, okay. So I'll take this opportunity to thank again Dr. Malik Tatipumala, CTO Silicon Valley Ericsson, and request Professor David and Pathak ji to give him a small memento on behalf of India Mobile Congress. Thank you, Dr. Malik. I hope this helps you prepare for the third 6G symposium and making it much bigger than the second one. And I am sure all of you will put the date in your calendar to come to the third 6G symposium. All the foreign guests, thank you very much. I hope you have got the bags which are courtesy COAI. If they are of poor quality, courtesy COAI. If they are good quality, please appreciate Pathak ji. Thank you.
So yeah, I think I request all the foreign my speakers, because that is from IMC, you have not taken the bag, please, because they have just gave us. And I request my own staff, Swapnil, Faisal, and Gyanendra to come forward on the stage for a group photo, because I think they have worked more than me. And naturally, I would like to thank entire IMC team, their audio visual team, and those ये बच्चियाँ हमारे साथ जो काम करती रही हैं. तो अभी और एक हम चाहेंगे कि हम लोगों के फोटो के बाद एक सबका एक ग्रुप फोटो हो जाए, जैसा कल हुआ था. I mean, we had the photo yesterday, so same we will have photo even today also, because that will be our closing ceremony. So first I request my own Swapnil, Faisal, and Gyanendra. Gyanendra, come on the stage immediately for a photo. चले बाहर चले